Good morning. Welcome to KAOS morning live stream. Every week we do this Sunday, 8 a.m. Today it's just me and Brian. I don't know if Rami's going to be here today. He may come in late. I don't
Yeah.
know. Um, did you have anything you needed to touch on this week right away from last week? Or
Yeah, well, just want to talk about the website and getting it up and running. And there's not too
I'm
much
working
else
on
to changes. So,
really focus on right now. Well, I'm working on it. I'm in the process of getting all the text in play, getting this page set up. I should have it up probably Monday or Tuesday.
okay.
Yeah, I will
Well,
email you as soon as it's up. I have gotten probably about a third to half of it done so far.
okay.
It's just trying to
Yeah.
make sure I keep everything as an easy flow. you know, make sure it
Is it
flows
coming across?
well. And
Yeah. Does
yes,
it
it
coming
is.
across okay? Do you
Yeah,
see any changes that you think it might need or anything like that?
I don't. I I've been running it basically how you set up for the structure on the email. Um, so I've been getting it where it's doing the flow pattern like you're wanting it done, where the one feeds into the other, so on and so forth. Uh, One of the things that's slowing me down is I also have to change the what's called a site map, which allows the search engines to read it and say, okay, here's this, here's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I'm doing the page, then I'm adding to the site map, taking away things out of the site map that don't need to be there anymore. So it's a little bit of a lengthy process, but it's getting there.
Yeah. Right on. Okay. Well, that's the
So,
main thing. Sorry about sending you the wrong email there the other day.
oh, it happens. I thought it was fun. It was
Yeah.
an interesting read. I read the whole thing.
Really? Because it's a pretty long document. I'm quite surprised you read
It
it
is,
all.
but it's an interesting read.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
digested it. It's like, well, this is kind of an interesting theory.
Are you
So,
were you
but it was
familiar with the
enjoyable.
aquatic ape? Were you familiar with the aquatic ape theory to begin with?
No, I wasn't. I
No.
wasn't. And so that's why it really caught my attention. I was like, well, this is something new. Let me see what we got going here. And it's like, wow. But this has got some
Yeah.
serious detail to it that makes some sense.
Well, I think it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the 1950s, this guy came up with this. He was the first one that he worked on. He was what do you call him? He was a marine biologist,
Hmm.
and he noticed that whales and dolphins and all these other ocean-going mammals, they all have a layer of fat between their skin and
Hmm.
the flesh, right? And
Hmm.
like a dog, if you grab the skin, you can pull it up, and the whole thing can almost feels like it could come right off
Yeah.
of them, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas a seal or us, if you try to do that with our skin, there's a layer of fat attaching it,
Hmm. That we grab.
and so it cannot move so freely.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, this guy realized all ocean-going mammals have this, and so do we. So he came up with this idea that we must have lived in the water at some point. So
Well, it makes
that's
sense.
where
I mean,
that whole idea came from.
if you look at the evolutionary theory, I mean, it shows us coming from single cell organisms to organisms underwater, crawling up on land, and evolving from that point through the different animal stages.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it does make a lot of sense. I mean, it goes right
Yeah.
along with the Darwinism on
Well,
that.
it's not just that we came out of the water and went on land, but then we went back in the water, right?
Right.
So that's what the key point of this is that we were a land mammal, and then we moved into the water again, and then came back out again.
Hmm.
So dolphins were also land animals that eventually went back. All ocean-going mammals were land animals at one
Right.
point, and they all went back into the ocean. And this guy's theory was at some point we must have went back into the ocean and evolved from there.
Brian, you're
Still
breaking
there?
up real bad there. Yeah, I'm here, but you're breaking up and freezing real bad.
Damn, I think I lost it.
I'm still here, but you froze. Can you hear me, Brian? Hey, it seems like Brian's having some technical issues today.
Definitely having technical issues.
There we go. You're back.
Yeah.
You were freezing
So-
up and breaking up and that. So I don't know. Maybe you were just having a bad connection with your internet setup.
Yeah, I am.
I know you're still waiting on getting wired systems going and that. So
Yeah, we're hoping now it's spring's here. I'm hoping that we'll get better internet. We're supposed to get fiber optics running here.
hmm that's what I'm on right now is fiber optic. I went over to fiber optic from AT&T and man, I can tell the difference.
It's going to be a beautiful thing when we get it here, I think, for sure.
Oh yeah, it's a great thing. I mean, the speed is just ridiculous. You know, you got to download something that's done in a few minutes instead of 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, because my biggest thing is for communicating like this, and getting
hmm
communication and not
Yeah,
cutting in and out all the time.
right. Yeah, I can. Do I still have that? I think I can still show you the homepage the way I've got it looking right now. Just a second here. Let me see. Wrong server. Oh, I know what I can do. Put this second here. That. Yeah. So the main. Let me. I'll share this real quick with you so you can see it. If I can get the dog to quit bouncing on me. Where is it at? They've changed the layout on this thing a little bit. So I got to figure out where everything's at here. Is that it? No. Oh, here we go. How about if I hit on any button? Share screen. All right. Um, so this is what we've got going right now. I know your layout's different because compared to my showing it by the computer browser, but I've got it. It's like I like this lead in here where it says technology horrors, humanity endangered, and then I went into your actual article, so I kind of left that.
Yeah.
I thought that was an appropriate lead in, and then of course I've got the thing, and then down here I've got how KAOS works, and then a lead button to read into the full page.
Am I supposed to see anything on my screen right now? Because I don't see anything.
You should. I'm presenting it.
What
Oh,
is this?
I see what my problem is. Hold on. That was my fault. My bad. There we go. There we go. Okay. I don't know. Can you see it now? Brian?
I pressed the wrong
There we
button
go.
and disappeared there for a few minutes.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So down here, I kept the technology horrors, humanity endangered. I thought that was a nice lead in to show, because it goes to something is broken about how we understand other at scale, and then dealing with
Where did
technology.
that-
I thought that was
Where
that
did
is actually
come-
that actually came from the original website.
Okay. Just the title you're talking about.
Yeah, this part where it says technology horrors, humanity endangered.
Uh-huh.
I thought that would be a nice lead in to get your attention to pull into reading the rest of what we were saying.
I don't quite understand. I don't quite. I don't know where that came from. Technology.
That was actually that's from the site that's online right now.
Yeah, but I don't remember ever writing that.
Yeah, it was something when I was using AI to help do it, help set it up originally. They the AI actually came out with that out of the information that was in the web page as a lead in.
Okay.
And it fits. It really fits. So
you took it away. I can't see it now. What was it again?
Let me bring it back up.
Yeah.
Let me bring it back up for you. Hold on a second. Ouch, dog. Here we go. Can you see it now?
Just the work there.
Or is it showing?
Oh, it was. There we are. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what I was talking about is this part right here. I mean,
Yeah.
this part here.
Is humanity in danger?
And I thought that was nice.
To me, it doesn't. Just provokes questions more than answering it.
Well, and see, that's the thing. You want it to provoke questions because now they want to read into where you come from this information at, where you come with this idea at, and it actually spells it out in there pretty well, as to how we come up with that. It's not an exact line in the text, but it's a nice, quick little summary of what we say in the text. Because one of the things that you start off, something is broken. About how we understand each other at scale. The technology would connect billions of people right before we had a serious plan for what to do with it. I mean, it leads in nicely.
All right. Yeah, it's okay. I just caught me off guard, and I did have to absorb it for a bit. I hadn't seen that before. So. Anyway, that's fine. We'll let that go. That's good.
I think that looked nice. It was a nice lead in, perk your interest up. You want it to make you ask questions, so you read in, see what's going on.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, where are they coming up with this? And as they read it, they can connect the dots.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then of course we've got the join us for our live stream right below it, and then afterwards we got from Chaos Comes Over, core simple. I just looked these cards in for the simple fact, that gives a little more idea of where we're going with, and it's covered in that article from Chaos Comes Order. Just not in individual bullet points, but more along the lines of it's throughout the paragraphs.
These are just bullet points.
These are just bullet points that I pulled out of it. Once again, ask them questions, make them go in to read how it figures in, and it answers the questions. That's the key I'm looking at, is making them answer, making them question things and finding the answers. Okay. That's part of critical thinking for research.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we're at. And then of course I got our, we're looking for help at the bottom like we had. Yeah. But link to our Chaos Now Reddit subreddit. And then of course down here we've got more links. All the pages right now I've gotten how Chaos works. I'm working on data and value. What was the other one I got? Oh, and then of course I got the homepage done. And I have got the privacy thing. I think the privacy thing is a key because there's a lot of people out there that are big about privacy right now. They don't want to be tracked. Yeah. So of course we're going to keep the privacy policy in there. Plus the fact we are giving them opportunities to put out their information. We don't want to sell that information. That's not what we're in business to do.
No.
So it is, ouch, quit. So it is sorry, I'm getting chewed up by a 45-pound puppy. Stop.
How many dogs
Sorry
you got
about
there?
that.
2 at least, I see.
Well, this is Pupper. She's my Chihuahua. We've got a roommate that moved in with us, and this German Shepherd
Oh,
Pit Bull mix that we have is hers. And
oh,
she's like 6 months old, so she's big
yeah,
time playful.
yeah.
And
No,
she
I
doesn't
hear you.
understand when I'm on, when I'm doing this stuff. Uh, she doesn't understand the fact that she can't be playing at the moment.
Yeah,
And she bounces me around in that. Ouch! Quit.
yeah.
And
Well, if you see
unfortunately, it
you're
interferes
active,
with the meeting too. Oh
yeah,
yeah, she's very active. She gets up in
yeah,
the morning is from 0 to total insanity in like 2.3 nanoseconds.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
I think
anyway,
it's
that's
the
where I'm at on
biggest.
the website.
Yeah,
That's where I'm at on the website. It's coming along nice. I'm keeping the same color schemes, same design aspect. It's going to flow well on phones. I'm checking it on my cell phone as I'm doing it.
yeah.
And so I'm making sure it works well, all three different types of platforms between internet or between web browser, on the computer, on the phone, and on tablets.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
wait. Oh, but the drawbacks of doing everything from home on the couch. Um, but yeah, so I'm trying to keep it, you know, where it's up, but we're getting the information out, and it's easy to flow for the people to find the information. And then when they type in certain keywords on Google looking for information about it, with the sitemap, we'll be able to pop up on the list
yeah. Okay.
with the keywords and that. So,
That
and that's
sounds
my goal.
fantastic. Yeah, thank you,
My main
Edward.
goal is get us. Oh yeah, my main goal is get us up as high as possible in Google, Bing, and all the other search engines, so that we're up there. It's like, oh well, here we are. You know, it's not going to happen immediately overnight, but as the information gets out there and we start having people investigating into it, it's going to increase our position.
Well, once I get really promoting this thing again, I've been kind of in a stale standby mode here for the last little while,
Waiting on the
and
website.
yeah, waiting on the website. Then, so once we get that going, and I'll get far more into promotion, and hopefully we'll see a lot more activity. Um,
Hmm.
I'm eager to make a post on that Game B Facebook site,
Hmm.
and although I'm going to have to get a hold of whoever the mods are for that, because Sharon Lewis, the person I've been talking to, she made a post
Hmm.
on there over a week ago, almost 2 weeks ago now,
Yeah.
and talking about Audrey Tang and their whole project on. Anyway, so I made a comment on that post, and that was well over a week ago, almost 2 weeks ago now. And my comment still doesn't show up for everybody. When I look
Mm.
at it, it looks like it's kind of half phased out. You can see it there, but kind of, and then at the bottom there's a thing in brackets that says still waiting for approval. So,
Oh, they've got
and it says
they've got
it says something.
every
It
post being
says,
approved.
well, every new commenter, every new person that comes in, their first comment has to be approved by their committee or whatever, or the people running
Right.
the page.
Make sure
And
it goes along
well,
with what there is.
yeah. So anyway, I haven't been approved yet. So I don't even think I can make a post until I've been approved. So anyway, yeah, that's been sitting there well over a week, and nobody has approved me yet. So anyway, I might have to get a hold of the admins there, or
Hmm.
mods, or whatever they have, and get that all straightened out before I can post anything. But
Right.
I don't know. Maybe they found something in my past. They decided they don't want to let me through. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't think they're looking in the past quite as much as they're looking at the post content itself.
Oh, they just making sure I'm not a
That's
bot
what
or
they're
something, or what?
Yeah, yeah. Making sure you're not a bot, making sure you're not a troll, that you're not going in there to start trouble and that. Um and so they'll look at it, they'll weigh it against their system and yeah, this will work, or no, we're not going to allow this post because I don't think it would fit. That's the whims of the mods.
Yeah.
mods and the admins. So we don't have any
So,
control over that.
yeah, obviously I gotta get past that barrier before I can do anything else, and try to get them. I guess they're not aware that I'm even there yet, or something. I don't know. They're yeah, nobody's paying attention to who's commenting. I guess I don't know.
Right.
But anyway,
But
so I'll have to send a message out for that.
okay.
Is there? Let me think here. Is there anything else we need to cover at all?
Not that I can think of. I wish Rami was here because I know he's got a few things he probably wants to touch base on, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on that because I know the emails are getting sent out because I see them in the calendar. They've gotten sent out. I sent it to my own email account, so I know they're getting sent out. So I don't know what's going on. I know he doesn't have Zoho calendar blocked on his system since he.
Well, he definitely knows we meet every Sunday. Either anyway.
Yeah, he also may be busy with something going on in his personal life.
Yeah.
It happens. We all have, this is one of those things that, sometimes this is something we have to put on the back burner for things that are more important, unfortunately.
That's right. Yeah.
Name of the game. Once we're up, fully running, hopefully we can get some people interested in helping us out with the sites and all this stuff. Hopefully, we can get some decent meetings going and getting some input from other people, getting their thoughts, and this way it doesn't seem like it's all one-sided. I mean, not that we're one-sided. We agree with the whole premise. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So.
But yeah, it would be nice to get a few more people coming to the meetings. Yeah, I'm really missing Rami. I'd like to.
I am too, and I haven't really heard from him lately.
Yeah.
I have to reach out to him, see if he's okay in that.
Yeah, I might do that on the side too, and see what's going on with him and stuff. I know that it's a lot of stresses going on these days with all these new rules with the vaping and all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, and plus he's starting up his, he went back into education too. So yeah, it's a mess for him right now. I'm sure he's, he probably feels like he's in a pickle trying to figure out, okay, am I making headway or am I not? And then of course he's also got Uniting the Cults, which he could be involved in something big on that. I mean, he's mentioned before that he's had times where he's had to back away from us in order to focus on something with his other projects. Which, we can't blame him. He's got something he's passionate about, just like we are with this. Follow it,
With everything going on in the Muslim world right now, I'm sure there's
well, not only that, not only just the Muslim world, but then you got the way the Muslims are being treated here in the States. It's like all of a sudden they're the bad guys. Well, I hate to say this, but we started the initiation on the attacks.
Yeah, I don't know. From our point of view, America's looking pretty bad.
It is. It is. I mean, it's getting out of hand. Now we've got the president trying to start up a fight between the Pope and the United States. And it's like, good God, this guy's a religious leader. He's not a political leader.
No.
He's doing the right thing by saying he disagrees with the war and that, because it is wrong. War is not the answer.
Yeah. And really not helping it at all is the news. The news, I've been watching CNBC, I think, lately. And, the president will say something, and then the Pope will say something, and then the president says something. And then they go, this was a headline, not yesterday, but the day before, I think it was. And so Trump had said something about a Pope for like the third time or something. And they go, and the Pope shoots back. Like that, the Pope shoots back at Trump, or hits Trump hard, or something like this is how they lead into the story. And then when they talk to the Pope goes, "I don't want to fight with Trump. I'm just giving my regular message of no, war is bad." And I'm not specifically talking
driving for peace.
So anyway, So he's trying to ease his way out of this thing a little bit, trying to say, I'm not trying to confront Trump specifically, but they introduced the whole segment as the Pope strikes back. No, he's
Yeah.
trying to go, I'm not trying to strike anybody. I'm trying to fucking ease my way out of this situation here. I'm not trying to fight with Trump. I don't want to have a fight with Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they introduce it as he fights back. That was the introduction.
Yeah. It's great.
That,
I mean, half the time, the headlines they use, they're just trying to egg on
oh, yeah.
more
This is what I
discourse
mean.
in it all. And it's like, you know,
Yeah,
if I catch a headline I question, I'll go ahead and read the article and be like, yeah, well, you need to change your headline because you just flat out lied what the headline said.
that's right. Yeah.
You know,
And,
Eh,
and then people, Trump supporters, they hear that though, and I have to assume they think, well, the Pope is punching back at Trump.
mhm.
When that's not what he was trying to do. He was trying to go, no, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight.
Yeah. Well, see, the way I look at it, part of the problem when it comes to the situation of the Pope, first off, Pope Leo is the first American Pope.
Oh yeah, I
And
tell
of
you, it's
course,
weird to hear. It's weird to hear him speak English with
yeah,
no
it's
accent.
always been uh, Italian or some other foreign language. I think it's neat.
Yeah,
But I'm sure it's a case of Trump thinks, oh, he's American. We can control the Vatican now. It don't
yeah,
work that way
yeah. I'm
because
sure
the
that's what he
government's to
wanted.
control the churches. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly what it is. He's trying to play it off as, oh, he's an American, so we can control everything out of the Vatican now. It don't work that way. The Vatican is a religious aspect. It's not a political aspect. It's like, come
yeah,
on, you know, Trump
yeah.
is
Well,
Trump is on an ego trip from hell, trying to control the entire narrative to be his way, and it don't work that way.
no.
And he's losing a lot of his base because of it.
I have to assume that he is. I've heard things like Alex Jones is turning against him, and
Hmm
people like that. And once he
Alex
loses those
Jones, Joe
people,
Rogan, they're all turning on him.
yeah,
And now the Christian
yeah,
faith, the Christians, the Catholics, and that they're starting to turn on him out of his base and say, "Nah, this ain't right. This is too far." He's going to end his. He's going to screw it up for the Republicans, and he has no one but himself to blame. But he'll try to blame somebody else.
well, these midterms are going to be a real eye opener to find out what happens during your next midterms. There,
Yeah,
yeah,
it is, and I can't stress
holy,
enough. Everyone in the states needs to get out and vote. Don't sit on your hands saying, "Oh, we got this in the bag." No, we don't have it in the bag until you get your vote cast.
yeah,
So it's very important for Americans to cast their vote in order to control the narrative,
yeah,
because America is based on the principle of for the people, by the people, which means the government works for the people and it's controlled by the people. The representatives and Senate are to listen to the people, not to the president. And
yeah.
that's where
Well,
they're
that's
making their big mistake.
yeah, yeah, because it's easier said than done. I don't
Hmm
know. We'll see what happens
We
here
become
with
too, we, as a country, we become too passive to let it happen and allowed it to happen. And now it's getting out of hand.
yeah,
That's how I see it.
yeah,
But 55 years in this country, I think it's pretty easy to see.
yeah.
But it's gotten to the point where I'm ready to get the hell out of the country. I mean,
Well, if you leave, then you're just compounding the problem. If all the good people leave,
exactly, exactly, and that's part of the reason why I'm fighting an urge just to do it. Besides that, who's got the money for it?
yeah, yeah,
I mean, our economy is destroyed right now. It's not getting any better.
yeah.
Um,
Well, a lot
I
of
mean,
countries are here. We're having
yeah,
problems
but
with our
he's
economy too. I mean,
yeah. Well, and a lot of it is because of the actions that Trump is taking. He's
yeah,
crippling the global economy. Nobody else is.
yeah. Like there's got to be like a worldwide, confrontation of Trump because I can't believe how quiet everybody is after he screws up the whole oil market for the whole fucking world. And
Hmm
I'm just surprised that there aren't more countries speaking up, going, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what the fuck? You can't do this to all of us,"
hmm
And
Yeah. Meanwhile, here's
there's
us
another.
Americans that are seeing it. We're sitting there saying, "Hey, you can't do this. You're screwing up the entire world, all
Yeah,
for your petty little wants." And it just doesn't work that way. You know,
and the
we
bullshit.
we don't recognize a
Yeah,
monarchy,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
it
Yeah.
gets
Anyway.
it's interesting,
Yeah, it
to say the
certainly
least.
is. That, to say the least, it certainly is interesting. Yes, for sure.
Oh yeah, we have to stay on our toes because we never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
It
yeah. He's
really is.
definitely he's livening things up. That's for fucking sure. Yeah,
Yeah, the problem is he's livening up in the wrong direction.
yeah,
He's making so much hate and division that it's destroying our country from within, and it's starting to
yeah,
affect the greater world, which is not cool.
yeah,
Um, we need to get this. Us Americans need to get this under control, and we need to do it quick. I know there are some Republicans that are actually talking about impeaching him too now. So
yeah,
the message is starting to get through. He's unhinged and he's a danger.
yeah. Once again, the
There was,
midterms are going to really set the table for this. You'll
mhm,
after the midterms, you're going to have a much better idea how things are going to go. And
yeah,
yeah, and just leading up to the midterms, is he
hmm
going to actually let the election take place? You know, is he going to try
that's
to
our
block?
biggest concern. That's our big
Yeah,
concern. He keeps trying to push through something so he can declare martial law, so he can
yeah,
try to overrule the thing. The thing is, there's already precedent set that that doesn't work. That can't be allowed to happen.
yeah.
During World War I or World War II, I can't remember which, we had an election. We changed presidents.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter if we're in a conflict or not. What
Yeah. Well,
matters is what the people of the United States say.
Yeah. Well, Teddy Roosevelt was the one guy that he did 4 terms or something, or 3 terms.
hmm
Teddy Roosevelt.
He's the reason we've got term limits on the president now.
Yeah, because there wasn't any before that. But he
Yeah.
used that same excuse. Eh?
Now we just
Yeah,
need to get term limits on our parliamentary.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that would be helpful too.
That would make a
But
big difference.
but Trump is definitely going to test those term limits to see whether or not
Oh yeah.
they're strong enough.
Oh yeah, he keeps floating around the idea of running for a third term. It's like, nah, you can't do that. It's unconstitutional. It's in our constitution. He can't do it, and he's still trying to figure out a way to go around that.
Yeah, well, he's still working on
It's
it.
just,
He may try. Yeah.
yeah. So,
All right. Well, Ed,
all
I
right.
think maybe we'll cut her short here. I think today. Eh? What do you think?
It sounds like a good idea. I mean, we didn't have much talk because it was just us, and my input's more on the website and that. Um, you know, you're
I,
directing how you
I,
wanting things to lay out. And we need
I
that
haven't
third
really done
voice.
anything. Yeah, I haven't really done anything to report anything. Eh? So I'm not really. I don't have anything to report until we kind of get moving again
Right.
as PR.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So,
there's not much to say. So might as well we'll
all
call
right.
it a day.
Well, we'll see you next week. Hopefully, Rami will be with us next week.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I got to reach
then we
out to
can.
him.
Yeah, I think I'll try to reach out to him too to make sure he's okay. And then we'll go from there. I mean,
Okay.
hopefully we didn't lose another person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think we would lose Rami though. He was pretty big into
No.
this.
Yeah. Yeah. He
So
just got a lot going on right now.
yeah. So all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here.
All right, Ed.